to the high and go to oftentimes to the higher end. And in the overwhelming majority of people move one direction or another. And in a free and open economy and in a growing economy, people have the opportunity to make a determination for themselves as to how far they want to go economically in this country. That's not to say that there's some people that don't need some help and some people that can't help themselves, and we have ways to address those particular problems. But you can't just say that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer in this country. I don't think that that's happening that way. I think all levels are moving up. The IRS just did a study not too long ago, as I recall, that showed just from the tax, income tax forms that they traced back and looked at over a period of time that people were moving from lower income levels to higher income levels throughout their career in this country, which is what you would expect. So I'm more interested in policies that promote that, to let a small town boy with very meager prospects, one might think, who grew up in a little town like I did, and started working in a factory, and have the opportunity to, live the American dream, as so many of us have. That's what I want to promote.
A couple other issues, if I could, domestic issues. Energy policy. I looked on your website, and there are references to energy policy. There are not a lot of specifics there. I'd like to ask you what, as president, Fred Thompson would do to try and end America's addiction to oil. And I'll start with one specific. Would you support higher vehicle fuel economy standards?
No. Again, taxes are not the way to go. I don't think that it's going to, the cost-benefits relationship is not there, which is what I think we always have to look at. I think in terms of our energy policy in general, that we're not going to immediately turn our addiction to oil around. We might as well get over that notion. What we've got to do is have greater diversification, working more toward independence. And less dependency on the wrong parts of the world. There are such problem spots like the Middle East right now. That's going to involve several things. We're going to have to start doing several things better than we have in the past. I think we're going to have to use our own resources more than we have. We can do that.
But setting higher fuel standards is not one of those steps.
No, I don't think so. I think that the effect of that, what that would do to the consuming public in terms of their driving habits, what it would do in terms of the increased monies that they would be having to pay, what that would do to the economy, what effect that would have on other parts of the economy. I just don't see the cost benefit there. We're making headway, I think, with regard to cleaner coal technology. I think nuclear's got to be put back on the table, alternatives, renewables. All of those things have got to be put on the table. We've got to do all those things simultaneously, I think, in order to become more diversified.
Related issue, global warming. How big a challenge is global warming? How big a problem is it, do you think?
I don't think anybody knows yet exactly how big it is. I think it's something that we have to get answers to. We know that the globe is warming. We don't know whether or not that's part of a cycle.
You think humans are responsible?
The Earth has cooled in times past. This could be a part of a warming cycle that we will come out of someday. I don't know, or how long it would be. We don't know to what extent. Undoubtedly, humans are contributing to it, but we don't know how much and what percentage. And we do know that unless we get other countries growing large economies like China and India to cooperate in any solutions, that it's not going to be economically realistic for us to try to do things that would harm our own economy and have very little effect unless they join with us in some kind of a solution. But we've got to do everything that we can to get the answers to these questions and see the nature of the problem, the extent of it, and what we can realistically do about it.
Immigration, I know you're up with an ad here in Iowa citing your own views on the immigration issue and the proposal that came out of the Senate a couple of months ago. Again, talk to me about the contrast your background, your history on this issue with that of your opponents, most notably Mr. Mayor Giuliani and Governor Romney.
Well, the mayor and my backgrounds are in sharp contrast on some points. In 1996, I was passing a bill outlawing sanctuary cities. The mayor went to court to try to overturn that bill. And fortunately, he lost that lawsuit. Sanctuary cities were outlawed. but we still have them in this country in violation of federal law. I simply think we're in a high-tech growing economy. We have an economic competitiveness issue that education is going to have to solve in part. It is not going to be in our long-term interest to be bringing millions and millions of people in this country who are lower tech and lower educated. That's the economic part of it. There is also a fairness part. The people who have played by the rules to become a part of our society, they should not be disrespected. Then there's the national security part. A small amount of material in the wrong kind of hands can destroy an American city. And we have virtually open borders.
As you know, there are a lot of businesses out there who say they need these workers right now. This is important to the U.S. economy. The workers who are here even right now. If you can secure the borders, what happens to the 12 million illegal immigrants already here?
Enforcement by attrition. Over a period of time, if you enforce the law, if you secure the border, if you require employers to use a system that they have now called E-Verify, so that they can readily determine whether or not someone is legal or illegal. If you do away with sanctuary cities, as is really the federal law, and stop providing inducements for people to come here over a period of time, the numbers will be moving in the right direction, and the problem will greatly rectify itself.
Let me ask you, if I could, some political questions before we wrap this up here. Specifically, your take on what's going on in New Hampshire. I know there's a new poll out today that suggests you may be down to 4% support there. What's going on in New Hampshire? Are you putting all the marbles here in Iowa?
Well, I'm putting a lot of marbles in Iowa, and we've been spending a lot of time in South Carolina, where we're doing very well, usually running first in most of the polls there. We'll have to wait and see. Every day's a new day. You know, Mayor Giuliani is doing well in the national polls, but I'm running second in most of the national polls to Mayor Giuliani. So we're about where we need to be overall right now. We have some strength in places and some weaknesses in places, and every day is a new day. You just have to do the best you can. It's very, very hard to handicap these races anymore, especially in a place like Iowa. Howard Dean was the odds-on favorite in mid-December. And, of course, that didn't work out too well for him. And you can say the same thing about some of the early primary states and other parts of the country, too. So who knows what to make of it.
Republican presidential candidate Fred Thompson speaking with me here in Iowa 44 days before the all-important caucuses. That's going to do it for me from the campaign trail here in Lamar's